All right, and so we are live pretty much. Facebook always has this weird delay with Zoom now. So, hey everybody, what's going on?
Hi,
I
everyone.
hope, hey, I hope you guys are having a really awesome day. As you guys know, I have been on an absolute mission to grow beyond Amazon this year, right? I've had 2 years of strong private label, successful sales. And my mission now is to grow beyond Amazon because, as we know, Amazon is only 10% of all of retail. So recently, I did we had the Saturday meetup where we talked about getting approved to sell on Walmart.com, and we, oh my gosh, we recently got approved on Wayfair, and we talked about applying for Home Depot. There is so many cool online channels we can sell on. But as you guys know, my goal is also, and I've talked to a bunch of you who have the same goal, to get into like specialty as well as big box retail brick and mortar stores. And so, it's so cool, but it's hard, right? Because we don't know. We all have mastered the e-commerce side of things when it comes to Amazon, and Amazon is undoubtedly the strongest e-commerce channel we can have, right? But how do we make that transition? When a company calls us and says, hey, I'm interested in your products, how do I get them in my store? Like, what do we do? How do we how do we have, how do we communicate with them? What's their lingo? All of that. Like, I don't even know where to begin. I've been on Range Me for a couple of years, but I still don't understand all of the links because I don't speak that language. So anyway, I'm here today with my friend Taylor, and Taylor and I met, over a year ago now, and
Yeah.
we have been in touch this whole time. And other than Taylor having to take a break because he was killing it selling to so many retailers during COVID. He was selling hand sanitizer, everything, And so, other than him having to take a break, we have been planning on co hosting this special program together. Now, I'm selfish. I just want to learn from Taylor. But I also wanted to take some people along with me because I know so many of my clients and so many of you are wanting to learn how to do this. So anyway, we are going to launch, Taylor and I are going to co-host this program in September to teach you guys how to, and teach me how to actually do this, how to sell into specialty retailers. So Taylor, we don't know how to do it. We need to learn. And the thing is, Taylor, you have all this success and you've helped so many people do this. You've helped so many people sell into retail. Why don't you just do it yourself? Like, there's that whole, like, why do you teach? If you can make all this money on your own, why do you teach others to do it?
Okay. So, hi, everyone. Allow me to answer you. First of all, before I respond your question, a quick background about me. I am been in the business of the retail business for 17 years. Been living in China for 7 years and producing for Walmart and Target and Costco and guys like that. 2010, 12, 13, I started to cooperate strongly with a company from New York. That's where my journey started regarding to what we are talking today, which means all the specialty stores and everything. And, I was very frustrated because I had a couple of stores that I was selling to, and I was always digging in my head and in other places, of course, in reality, how could I sell more? I mean, all right, I'm selling to like 10, 15 stores by that time, and I want to sell to like multiply 10, right? I want to sell more. I mean, I have the right product. I have an amazing packaging and I have an amazing branding and everything. I have everything. Why is it not happening that I can sell in other channels? Back at that days, we have to understand 2012, 13, 14, Amazon was in the very beginning of themselves, and it wasn't really an option, not for me. And I'm an offline person because that's what I do my whole entire career. I'm doing offline only, a little bit of online. We'll talk about it later. And now I'm getting to my answer to you. So the, let's say, so-called romantic answer to you would be that it's, for me, that big question that I had on 2013 and 12 and 14 even, how to get to those, special channels, how to get to moms and pop stores, was something that I always thought about. And once I figured that, I knew all the way that once I'm going to figure it, I'm going to tell other people how to do it as well. Because, I knew that I'm not alone there. I knew that there were a lot of other private label owners that would love to sell in other channels. And I met some of them in shows, exhibitions and stuff like that. And they all spoke about the same very thing. But the second major answer is that, well, I love doing it. I love giving information, which is super valuable, of something that, most of the people or most of the sellers would not know unless they really meet it, in person. And that's the second point. The third point is that when I do a session like that with a bunch of, sellers, eventually I'm trying, and that's one of my targets, to pick up one or two or even three of them. It depends, on the volume and scaling and everything, because at the end of the day, there's a limit to what we can do. And to take one or two or three of them and to sell them myself, just sell them myself and open doors and everything. Now, regardless to what I do at the end of each and every session, in this session that we're going to do, and we're going to talk about it a bit, and I would love, to answer any question, but I love starting from the end. And the end means that, but the end is something that I want to talk about for a second, is that besides all the teaching and all the showing how to, I'm also doing the actual thing, which means I'm opening doors to people, to special channels. I'm connecting people that comes to the sessions with actual contacts in different channels. And we will talk about those channels.
Yeah, so let me share my screen. I think it's just so wonderful. It's a lot easier when you're able to show, right? Because to me, it's very foreign. Because I don't know, I've worked in retail. I've been an executive in retail. I used to work at Target. I've worked at Sears. I've been in retail, but it's very different selling to retail versus working in retail. So,
right.
You showing me some of the things that you have shown me so far, it's just like, wow, the possibilities. So it's really cool. What we've done is we've designed this 5-module course for you guys. And again, for me. And so what I love about us doing this together is Taylor already speaks this lingo, right? He already knows exactly what you need to do. And so what I love about us kind of doing this together is that anytime I don't understand something, probably most people who are in e-commerce are not going to understand it either. So if Taylor's presenting something that I'm like, wait, I'm not familiar with that. He's very familiar with that lingo. He might glaze over it. And I'm able to say, whoa, wait, we need to break that down further because that's way different from what we do in e-commerce. So I'm excited that we're doing this together. I'm stoked to be learning this stuff. I mean, it's awesome. So if you guys are interested in getting your private label products we're going to start with specialty stores. So Taylor, tell me a little bit more about specialty stores. What is a specialty store and why should we start there?
Okay. Well, specialty stores, what some people call moms and pop stores, there are usually standalone stores or, up to 2 or 3 or maximum 5 stores that they have in different, closed locations and everything. And it's a store and they are not part of any big retail chain store or any, something like that. So
we're not talking Walmart and Costco. We're not talking those yet because we don't want to start there. That's right. Like a container load at a time, and we're not ready for that. First, we need to set up our infrastructure to make sure we can sell smaller quantities in wholesale, for wholesale amounts, all of that, and then we can move to bigger channels, right?
Correct. I mean, if you would want to sell to guys like Walmart or all these big guys, Costco, Target, you name it, Sam Club and everything, you end up with a very long process and very heavy process because you have to know a lot of stuff before you approach them. And approaching them is a whole story for its own self. So what we would do in such a case, we would better take our private label because we have products that we're selling either, Amazon, eBay, wherever. and we have some kind sort of beginning or medium or even high-end level of branding. And we want to take these tools that we have and say, all right, so I have products and I'm investing time, communicating with suppliers, and I'm producing and I'm bringing stuff in, I'm importing, and I have inventory and stuff. So why wouldn't I go and sell in more places? I mean, I have everything that I need to be able to do so. And this is where all these sessions are coming into the picture, because you can look at your own product, and this is the model number 1 that I'm referring to. You can look at your own product, not even knowing what this product can really be in the market. Now, before we talk about the product, I'm going back to your questions about specialty stores. So specialty store, as I said, standalone or up to 5, maximum 6, 7 different stores. And that means that it's very, very easy to work with them, because we're not working in front of giants. This is not an Amazon.com that changes the rules or stuff like that. We are touching people, and people is something that is easier to start with, because even if we make, small mistakes or misunderstanding or stuff that we're not sure, we can always pick up the phone or drop an email, and it's very friendly and very easy, and it's an easy process to do. But still, you would have to know how to do that process, and there is a certain language, and that language, it's the same as, if you would want me to sell at Amazon. I don't know about Amazon. I mean, I barely, buy there, because only when I need or my wife instruct me to. But if I would want to sell there, I would come to you, Amy, and say, hey, teach me how to sell. I don't know the language. I don't know what it means, ASIN or this or that, or all this stuff that I'm hearing around. So it's the same here. There's a certain language. There are certain steps that you have to do and know with your existing product, in order to be able to sell them and do it fluently and do it successfully.
And Taylor, something that you showed me that really blew my mind is, you've shown me some of the emails that you exchange with the big guys. Like, you've shown me these emails of you saying, hey, I've got 50,000 units of this available for you. And you get responses. And that's because you get responses of these huge orders that we Amazon sellers can't even imagine. And the reason you get those responses is because you already have built that trust and you already have that infrastructure set up. So that's why I want to learn from you. I want to learn how to set up that infrastructure, how to set up that trust, so that when I reach out to the big guys, when I'm ready that day one day to reach out to the big guys, I can get those same responses, and they have that trust in me to say, yeah, I'll take a container of that. Yes. When can you get me more of that? I mean, I was blown away seeing your emails of, what you're doing and how active you were. So many people think that brick and mortar is dead and, that it's going nowhere, but it's really, if they were to see these orders that you're getting, it's like their wildest dreams.
Correct.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, let's talk numbers if you're mentioning that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, of course, the brick and mortar, the big guys, the retailers are working like, in sometimes big, I would say even crazy volume sometimes. And, pitching from specialty stores and from these channels that we're talking about today into the retail big business, which means, Walmart and so forth, is quite easy. So once you have this equipment, let's say, on your table, in your pocket, all right, it would be much, much easier. It would be quite easy, I would say, to pitch into, going and selling to guys like Costco and so forth. There would be only, small adjustment that you would have to do to make this, one more step happen. But this is the basic, and it's not a basic in terms of, what we bring here, but it's basic in terms of how to build your offline business. Now, when we say offline, we are also talking about online. And why is that? Because if you look at the top 10 e-commerce in the States, the top 10, obviously Amazon, and you have Etsy, and you have eBay. And I think number 7, if I remember correct, is Best Buy. And you have Target or Costco, one of them is 10, and Macy's was number 10 until a few weeks ago. I'm not sure right now. And so what I'm trying to say here is that the offline, which is the brick and mortar, they have also an online channel. And that online channel is a great opportunity, because why would you sell only on Amazon? I mean, there's a lot of competition from other retailers to Amazon, including, Walmart that we know, most of us knows about it, or other channels that most of us would probably not know or not even try to know about. And that's what we bring to the table as well. All right. So yes, it's offline, but it's also the offline's online. So that's another channel that we're talking about. Okay, and there are more. We will talk about it when the time comes.
Yes. So, who is this specialty store channel, this class for? We're talking about those of us who are selling in e-commerce who want to increase our sales volume off of Amazon. That's what we're trying to set up. We're trying to set you guys up so that you can sell your products wholesale, so that you can successfully sell your products wholesale. And what are we going to do for that? So module 1, we're talking about how we can first discover where we can sell our products besides Amazon, right? Learning about our target audience in those channels from a wholesale perspective, because we know our target audience on Amazon, we know our customers there, but how do we know what stores we can sell to, specialty stores? So Taylor's going to teach us that. It's not just about Googling. He's got a lot of really great tools that are going to teach us how to target the right specialty stores and actually get better results than if we were just going on our own, going, okay, let me hit up Google, let me hit up Reference USA, let me try and figure out how to do this. Because even if we were to Google, even if I were to Google, of course, I'm in the pet industry. I can Google local pet retailers. I can even get on Reference USA and look up pet retailers. But what keeps me from doing that is I don't have any of these other modules set up. I don't have any of these other things that we're going to talk about set up. I don't know how to do pricing and orders. I don't know what's important for branding and visibility when it comes to wholesale channels. So we're going to cover that in module 2 and module 3. Understanding how to place orders. How do stores calculate their profits? How do they order goods from you? What do they expect in terms of your pricing, your payment terms, your methods of freight? All of the operation stuff that we don't understand, the things that seem really, really hard. Taylor's been doing this for years, and he already has the tools and the templates, to make this easier for us. And he provides all of those. He showed me his whole thing. He has so many templates, so many tools to make this very easy for you and very easy for me, which I'm excited about. So, and then Taylor, can we just talk a little bit about branding? So
Sure.
Why is branding different in wholesale and selling our products wholesale? What's important to them? And what have you seen some e-commerce sellers that you've been helping, private label sellers? What have you seen in terms of what they aren't getting right to be successful in wholesale?
Right. So think about a beautiful person that wants to go, hang out in the evening or whatever. That very person could wear, a simple pants and t-shirt and just go out with flip-flops or whatever. And that's what makes the difference if he goes with that, or if you go with a fancy dress or with a fancy whatever shirt, a little bit more than the casual and normal. And that's what we do in branding. We're taking what we have, existing things that we have, and we're just pitching it up. We're just bringing it up to a level with a very easy tools, to a level that it looks like wow. And that's what we want to do. We want to do a wow on the other side. We want the other side to look at it and say, I want to hear more. I want to know more. Why? Because there's so much information running, over the net and over emails and over texts and phone calls and so much info. We are living in a crazy information generation. And you want to be the one that is picked from, from all this information and being referred to and being, having enough attention so that, you can get the ball running. So this is very general what I'm saying, but, I've been working with tons of different labels, and I've seen guys that have, under their hands, so many great things and pictures and great stuff that they can use, and they're not using it, or they use it improper because they are having the mindset of how to sell on Amazon, white background or whatever it was back at the time. I don't know where right now and stuff like that. So they were, directed to that thing, not knowing that actually they can have branding in nothing, in terms of days. Okay. And
right.
by the way,
and so you've got some contacts for us, as well as you're going to teach us how to create those teaser decks and catalogs and lookbooks so that actually when we reach out to these specialty stores, they're going to actually respond to us, so that we're not just talking into a black hole and we don't lose those opportunities, right? You're going to give us the tools to make that a lot easier for us. I know I've been trying to put together kind of a sell sheet and catalogs for my products, and I'm excited to go through this class because I really want to make sure that I'm nailing it. I know I only get one chance sometimes to make that first impression, you know, and I'm the girl who likes to go out in the t-shirt and flip-flops. So I need to step it up, you know. I need to make sure that when I send that catalog out, that they're like, whoa, yes, I need to talk to this person. I want to know more. It looks like they know what they're doing. You know, I don't want that first impression to be terrible. So I'm super excited about that. And then speaking of that takes us into module 4 and module 5, which is marketing and sales and briefs, and then finding key people. So finding the actual stores relevant for our products. You know, so first we're going to learn how to do all of this and get it all set up. Then we're going to learn how to make the sale, right? How to actually communicate. So you're giving us tested templates that you have used hundreds and hundreds of times to be able to reach out and actually get an answer. So you're going to give us that, make it easy for us there. And then finally in module 5, we're actually going to learn how to implement it. It's like how to find those stores and how to make it happen. So did I miss anything there for module 4 or module 5?
No, just two more points to make. First, I mean, I'm not only giving, you know, theory around here, I'm also giving practical. And practic means that I'm going to get everyone in touch with the right people to make it in pennies. Because if you're thinking about branding and catalogs and stuff, you would say, hey, wait a second, I'm not a designer, I'm not this or that, you know. I would take someone, I would hire it, it's going to cost me how much? It's going to be thousands, hundreds, I don't know. I'm solving this problem before it even became a problem, because I'm bringing you guys that I work with for years and they do it for pennies. Okay, that's number one. Number two, going back to numbers, when we are talking about, you know, the model 5, which is the actual sales. If you think about selling to 10 or 20 different stores, and each and one of them selling for buying from you for a couple of thousand every month, you have to multiply it by 50 or 60 at least for the first stage, because that's your first. Most of the people's sellers' first target. To get to 50 or 60 different stores, you multiply yourself, you understand the numbers, then you want to sell to 100, and the next you want to sell to the big retailers, which is something different. But, you know, that's the numbers. These are the numbers that we're talking about. And, you know, from what I've seen, and I've seen, you know, all different kind of sizes of Amazon sellers. From what I've seen, this business never let anyone down in terms of numbers, even for the big sellers.
That's awesome. So we can definitely count on growing not only our sales channels, but, you know, when we think about when I run the numbers, and that's why I'm so interested in expanding into brick and mortar. But when I run the numbers, I think of Amazon as one store, right? One store. That's it, right? But yet there's literally, I looked up independent retailers for pet supplies in the US alone. And even in my region, there was over 10,000 of them. I mean, imagine multiplying, and of course, you know, some of them are going to be very small stores, so they're not going to move the volume that I get on the Amazon store in one day. But if I can set up that distribution and I can get that really good, having those phone calls of bulk orders, you know, coming in, I mean, that's going to be a game changer for my business. And when I ran the numbers, even if each of those additional stores, even if I only got into 100 of those stores, and when I ran the numbers and each of those stores only had a fraction of the sales that I have on Amazon, it's still a difference of over 6 figures in my bank account every month. And so for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And it propels me to be prepared to go into those bigger retail channels, which I'm so excited about doing, because I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm not ready. I know, Taylor, that you can help me get into those big box stores very easily, but I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to fulfill a full container load of each of my products. I'm not ready for that, but I'm excited about moving into these bigger numbers. I'm excited about moving into bigger profits in my bank account. And I'm most excited about doing it the easy way, which is learning from somebody who already speaks the language, who already has the templates for me, who already knows what they're doing. So I'm excited that we get to take the Amazing at Home community along with us. That's going to be so awesome. And then we do have a couple of bonuses that you're doing. So you're going to hook us up with some third-party logistics providers for small to medium orders, which are quick, low cost, and efficient. Right now, this is a problem even for Amazon sellers. Amazon has this new limit on inventory that we can send in. So people are having a hard time finding these 3PLs that will accept smaller orders. So you're going to give us that information, and then you're going to teach us or give us contacts of, like you mentioned, people who can create awesome catalogs for you for really affordable prices, instead of, it's not like we're going to take this class from you and then we're going to have to go and pay a $10,000 bill somewhere else. Right? It's going to be like, we can expect to leave this course with practical tools and knowledge to get started right away without this huge bill coming our way. Right?
Exactly.
And then finally, this final bonus that you're giving us is this new unique way to find even more specialty channels for our product lines. So, we're not allowed to talk about that yet, but I'm really excited about that because that has been coming along this whole time, and I'm super stoked. So anything else you want to say about the bonuses?
Well, I keep it as a bonus, a surprise bonus, but let me just say that besides the channels that we spoke about, the offlines, online, and the specialty stores, there are other channels that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to hook up people who join the session with this with key persons in those industries. Some of them is media, some of them is TV, and there are more, but we'll leave it as a surprise.
Awesome. So, we want to keep this short and sweet for you guys. We know you're busy with your businesses, but for those of you who are really ready to move beyond Amazon, you have great private label products, you're ready to expand into other channels, you can join us for this masterclass. It's going to be in September. We're launching it in September, and we're already ready to go. Taylor's already teaching this right now. So we're already ready to go, but we are limited in space. So make sure that if you guys are interested in this, if you're serious about moving beyond Amazon, you can come to amazingathome.com/retail, and you can just fill out this interest form at the bottom, and we will be in touch with you with details about the class and how to sign up. So fill out the interest form if you're interested, and we're so excited to get into this. I can't wait. So, and we'll give some other really great tips. I think, we'll kind of dig into this a little bit more over the next couple of weeks. But it's almost September already. So we've got 2 weeks here. And so if you guys are interested in this, again, just fill out the interest form here, and we will hopefully see you in the masterclass. I can't wait. I'm stoked to learn this stuff. I'm stoked to learn it from you, Taylor. I can't wait. I know that this is going to be amazing for my brand. I've already done the numbers, and it gets me excited just thinking about it. So let's do it.
More than you want to learn, I want to teach.
Yes, I know you're so passionate about it. And everyone that I have referred to you to work with you has given me incredible feedback. They're like, he's so great to work with. I understand everything. And so, English is not Taylor's first language. So, he does such a good job communicating and explaining these things. And so, yes, we will get you guys the details. And thanks again, Taylor, for being here with me and for doing this with me and teaching me and being such a good friend. And everyone, we will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.